we're not the best players in the world. I'll have to admit that, but we do our best, and I both bat and bowl, so I've got a little bit of experience in this. I'm not just making this example up entirely. But if you were to try and keep your eye on a ball, and let's say there's an aggressive bouncer coming towards your face, and unless you want to take that one straight in the helmet and get your head knocked off, you want to keep your eyes on the ball. But if you close one eye and attempt to do that, that's a bit like a business attempting to problem solve without somebody who's an external there to support them. And the reason is obvious. With one eye on the ball, you can't perceive depth. You can't see behind the ball, so you can't see how fast it's onrushing. And that makes it very hard to judge. And so often, you do get hit in the face in that circumstance. Now, we want to try and avoid that in business. And so obviously, the biggest thing that you can do to solve that as a business owner is to have somebody who's slightly removed from the company provide you with an external perspective. Really, really important as a business coach to be able to do that for people, and so over time, your level of perspective on a problem increases. You have a greater understanding, but because you remain removed, you still also see other examples. So you see the way other businesses do it, other industries do it, other sectors do it, and that's really important to bring that to your clients. The second thing that you provide as a coach is drive and motivation, pushing those business owners to do the small, tough changes that they've been ignoring for a long time. Now, you don't get to come in and just tell somebody to do these things and expect them to listen. You actually have to build that trusting relationship over time, because it's not just the owner that needs to be told to do them, it's everybody throughout the structure. And if they don't know you, if they don't believe you, if they don't believe in the results you can generate, it's much, much harder to do that. So those are two really important reasons why long, trusted, value-adding relationships are good. So why don't both sides of the equation, the clients and the coaches, just do that? And what do they do instead? What they do instead is this curve of 6 sessions that I've been talking about. And what does the curse of 6 sessions actually involve? So here's the typical journey of a client and a coach. So number one, what you'll find is that the first session is always a freebie. It's when they basically tell you as their coach what they think their problem is. So that's session number one. Then sessions 2, 3, and 4 will tend to be at some kind of introductory rate if it's the first time that you go through a client relationship. And in those sessions, you'll do things like gather data about where the problem is, interview people, understand some of the politics that's going on in the organization, look at the processes and the systems that they have there, and start to come up with some plans. But typically, when at sessions 2, 3, and 4, you'll end up doing it some kind of introductory rate, just so that they can see whether they like working with you or not. Now, as we move on into session 5 and session 6, where the problem happens, that's when you suddenly are paying full price as a client. So the introductory rate has gone through. They're starting to really notice that they're paying a high price for each session that the coach or consultant is there with the organization. Now, that's a fundamental problem, because that's when things start into focus. You can see a large amount of money going out of the door, and you need to know you're getting value. And what happens in those sessions? Well, the plan starts to work, which sounds great, and the change starts to happen. Now, is change easy? No, not usually. It takes quite a lot of emotional effort and investment. And so the fundamental that you find is that the business itself starts to get change fatigue just as you become really expensive. And that's the fundamental problem. You end up in session 6 with this phrase, and it happens all the time, all across the industry. Now, coach, really impressed with the level of change that you've managed to bring into the organization so far. We're making a lot of progress. I'm really enjoying this process. The only thing you see the team, they're getting a bit, they've been working really hard and things are starting to get busy. So what I want to do is I just want to give them I want to let the change that we've worked on so far bed in. And bed in is is almost the key phrase when you know this is going to happen. So we want to let the change bed in. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put the relationship on hold, and I'm going to give it a few weeks, maybe a month or two, and then we'll call you back in to work on the next biggest problem. Of course, what happens? Over the course of the next few weeks or the next few months, the phone goes silent. And then you hear on the grapevine that somebody else in the very, very busy coaching industry has gone along to that business and has said, I'll give you a free session. I'll give you an introductory rate. Here's my amazing credentials. Let me solve your next biggest problem. And that client has moved on to a new coach. And that process happens again and again and again all across our industry, and it is destroying value, both, as we described, for the client critically, because they don't build those trusted relationships. They don't create sustainable change over time by working with somebody who truly knows their business. And for the coach, who loses that client after having done all that marketing and relationship and sales work to get themselves in on that client and to start building that relationship with delivery. Even though they've been at solving the problem, they lose that client and they lose that revenue stream in their business. So it's not working for the clients and it's not working for the coaches, but we just seem to have no way out of it. That was until we worked something out special. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. The thing that makes all the difference, well, there's two things actually. The biggest thing is about having a structured program that clients can sign up for from day one for a 12-month engagement together. You can't prove to your client categorically that it's worth investing in sustainable long-term change, this sort of methodology where you've got a structured program that will last a full 12 months with a client. If you can't demonstrate that you've got that level of understanding of business in general, their industry in specific, they will not sign up for a long-term deal with you. But if you can eclipse that. You move the problem though, and that's where the second element comes in. You move the problem to be, okay, well, if I'm going to sign up for you long-term, I'm going to be paying you quite a lot in fees over that period. What if it doesn't work for us? Now, obviously, if you're a brand new coach, you haven't got lots and lots of testimony to say, this has been successful for me, it will be also successful for you. And you haven't got a proven program with all those people saying, this program is great. You should trust both this coach and their program. So that's very, very difficult. And the other thing you haven't got is a guarantee. So in general, most coaches in the coaching industry are not operating on guarantees because that feels risky to be able to say, well, if it doesn't work, you don't pay. But fundamentally, if you want to secure a client for the long term, you absolutely have to do that. You have to be prepared to put your money where your mouth is around your program and say, I'm willing to guarantee it. So those are the two big things. Now, why, of course, then don't coaches just simply produce their own programs? Because, you know, that seems like the logical conclusion. If I need a program and I need to be able to guarantee success, why don't I make my own? Well, the big fundamental there is it's hard. You know, to be able to produce a year's worth of program, our program, for example, has 60,000 words of course packs. Just writing that is going to take you months. And also those course packs are backed by 20 videos, professionally produced scripted videos with real life client examples in to demonstrate how this change works in a real business so people can relate to it. You know, if you're not prepared to put in the work, and in my case, it costs £100,000 worth of investment building that program out, so you spend an awful lot of money and an awful lot of time to create your program. And then at the end of that, what have you got? You've got an unproven, untested program. And most of the people in the coaching industry, they're not going to A, go through that time, or B, go through the further 12 to 18 months that there is to prove that program. So what we've done is go through that pain, create that program and build it so that others don't. The other reason why people don't do it is they perceive it as high risk. But it's only high risk if you don't create the right responsibilities from your client. And that's my big focus. So we always make sure that every one of our clients signs up for 4 days of improvement and growth work every single month. And our job is to guide them through that 4 days to make it as efficient as possible. Most of that work is done by our course, our program. By getting them to sign up to that 4-day rule and 3 pledges that they're going to show up having done all the preparation for the course, they're going to listen in the session, because why pay for expensive advice and not listen to it, and that they're going to actually follow up and act on that advice. They're going to implement the plans that you create together in the business. You can successfully guarantee that that is going to work. So what's the solution as a coach? You either build one, and the problem there is manifold. You've got all that investment period, all that testing period that you have to go through. But on the other side of it, you'll have your own program. Or now, thanks to what we've done, you can buy one. You can become a licensee within our organization. Now, we've set up these clear obligations for the owners. We've set up this guaranteed program. We've proven it in our marketplace. And not only if you were to join as a Pendleton coach and use our program, not only would you have the advantages of the program itself and being able to sell that, but we actually provide you, contrary to most of what goes on in the coaching industry, we provide you with massive hands-on support with both the sales of our program to your clients and the delivery of our program to your clients. And we do that by operating in a different structure to most people. Your business, your coaching business, is your business. You will have a Pendleton franchise, but your business will have your name on the door, and every client will be your client. Now, it's better than that though, because not only is it your business, you're also a partner in an international consulting firm. And so when you're talking to your clients about what you're going to do, you can do it in 2 forms. You can say, I, as managing director, am going to provide you with these services. And we, as Pendleton, the international consulting firm that I'm a partner within, we will support you in these ways. So if you have any questions, this is what we can provide for you. And it doesn't operate around the sort of archaic territories model either. So you don't have that fundamental problem of if one of your suppliers, one of your client's suppliers is recommended to you, you can't serve them because they happen to be in a different postcode. You know, we don't do any of that. We're a very modern style of consulting organization, and we operate in the way that the modern world really operates. So look, hopefully that's given you some interesting insight. I'm going to hand over now to Divya, who's been collecting questions from the audience as we've been going along, and I'm going to attempt to answer those for you.
Thank you, Rob. It was a great session. So I have a few questions for you. Before we take answer questions from the audience, I would like to know more quick about the Pendleton Global and how many Pendleton Global coaches we have across the globe.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's no secret we are a relatively young, new organization, but we've already got to double figures, which is great. So at the moment we have over 20 coaches around the world. We have coaches we have most of our coaches in the UK today. After that, we moved into India, and we have coaches in India. We have coaches across the border in Pakistan. We have coaches in America. And we're now looking at bringing on coaches in Australia and New Zealand, in South Africa, and a number of other countries around the world at the moment that are in discussion. So got some interesting ones in potentially in the Middle East, in South America, and in Asia as well. So yeah, things are looking very, very positive. We're also the fastest growing coaching company in the UK, possibly even the world. We've gone from we've gone 10 times the size that we were a year ago, and that's a very positive situation. Obviously for us, we're looking to maintain that growth, And we're very much looking forward to bringing on more partners in India through our relationship with you guys at Franchise India and Franglobal.
Wow, thank you for the details and congratulations on your growth and all the best for your further growth and success for the expansion in different countries. So my next question is how faster we are growing as a brand and how this pandemic and COVID actually influenced the business coaching and Pendleton Global.
Yeah, that's a good point. A lot of coaching companies and and in particular, a lot of client businesses around the world have really suffered through the pandemic. Now, part of the reason why we've been able to have 10 times growth in that pandemic is because there are going to be lots of people who are looking and thinking, crikey, what is it we can do differently? So both from a perspective of people wanting to leave senior jobs in industry and come up with a new idea for where they're going to take their career as they move into the last 20 years of their career. It has now become meaningful that they could successfully be a business coach. It's a very attractive industry to move into because it's one of those few industries where you have not only really good money, but also the time to enjoy that money and the responsibility, you like to be valued as a person and what you've contributed, and you can contribute a huge amount to a lot of businesses in a very short time as a business coach. So lots of people are moving into business coaching, and so obviously we've been very well placed to help and support them with our offering as a very modern new style of delivering a business coaching service. We've come in and really tried to disrupt our marketplace by putting the coach first rather than the franchise itself, and that's proved very popular, and we're looking forward to pushing that. But also, I would say it's been a great time for coaches because there's nothing like sitting at home in the middle of a pandemic going, how am I going to save my business? To make a business owner think, I really need some great advice. So actually more and more business owners around the world are starting to take on the idea that actually working as a partnership with a coach to do their strategic thinking is going to be much more successful than it would otherwise. So the pandemic, while it's been a terrible thing for many, many people, has actually been really, really important for the business coaching industry. And there's lots of reasons for optimism around that.
Great. So you have mentioned the water wheel in your presentation. So what sort of business have used the water wheel?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the great thing about the water wheel, actually, let's take a step back. If you look at what makes a classic small and medium-sized enterprise entrepreneur, it's usually somebody who's got deep expertise in their particular industry and a particular skill. So let's take an electrician's firm. You'll have somebody who has studied that, has become an expert electrician, has some great experience and is really plugged into that industry. But you probably haven't got somebody who's gone away and also done their MBA. They don't necessarily know how to run their business really, really effectively. So the business water wheel itself focuses not on the 20% that's specific to the owner, the culture, the industry, the location of a business, but the 80% on the other side that is just really good business generics. So we focus on teaching business owners how to do everything from the strategy visioning through planning into marketing and sales and operations and financial metrics and people issues and how to inspire their team and everything right up to and including enterprise level growth once you have a mature business. So it's a very comprehensive model. And as such, because it operates on the whole of the business, it works in different countries. So we've proven that by having coaches in America and coaches in India, coaches in the UK, all using the same system. It works internationally. And it also works multi-industry. So we've seen people from logistics, we've seen people from retail, we've seen people from high tech, we've seen people from just every single hospitality, every sector you can imagine. We've had a client in now, and people are using this very, very effectively simply because it focuses on that 80% of doing business really well that everybody needs to do, but which business owners tend not to be as well trained in as the specifics around their industry.
Okay, last but not the least, of course, audience would like to know how they can become the coach with Pendleton Global in India.
Okay, so thank you for that question. That's great. We are actively looking for more coaches in India. We're looking both for individual coaches who want to have a license with us to trade and use the business water wheel to excite and bring on clients. Bear in mind, you can also serve other programs to your clients. We don't take a royalty fee for that. We're very different from other coaching organizations. Where you sell our product and service, there's a royalty to pay. Where you sell a different product and service, that's your business. So we're quite different in style. So we're looking for individual coaches. We're also looking for citywide franchises where people would want to take a sort of a master franchise type role in the major cities in India. So I would say that the simplest thing for them to do is, number one, get in touch with Divya and have a brief chat to sort of understand the options. And then Divya will then help you to set up a one-to-one call with me as the founder of the network, and we'll discuss exactly what your needs are and how we can best develop your business with you. And really, it's a discursive process. It's one where we enter into a long discussion with you to make sure you get everything you need to get your practice fully established.
Thank you, Rob, for giving me all answers. So we have one question from audience Pradeep Ramachandran. It's almost similar question what I have asked, that are you developing coaches at Pendleton or PIC? What are qualified certified coaches, or focusing on partnership with the current coaches?
Okay, so as you'd expect, the answer is a little bit of all of those things. So what we do is we tend to take people who have three main backgrounds into Pendleton. The first one is people who we call director leaders. So director leaders are people who have probably been in medium or larger sized businesses. They've worked there for many years. They've got great experience in those industries, but they're looking to become the boss. They're looking to set up their own firm and to use that long career in order to support other businesses as a coach. We help them to establish their practices, and we provide a support structure and a product for them to sell. We provide that program that they need to sell. So we help director leaders. The second type of person that we help is what we call the owner-founder. So that's typically somebody who has started a small or a medium-sized business, and they've run that. Maybe they're a serial entrepreneur. They've started multiple businesses. So we support by helping them to translate all that good knowledge of being an entrepreneur, but into a structured program, because often that's the bit that they tend to miss. So they provide that. We provide that to them, and then they can serve their clients using our system. And they're also supported by the consulting network. And then the final category of people that we tend to look at are existing consultants and existing coaches. And they're just looking to raise their game, have a more high profit margin product that they can sell, an easier to sell product that's proven on the international stage. So we offer them that, and we also, again, offer them that support structure that they would have experienced if they were at PwC. My background was I worked for many years for PwC and then a range of other consulting firms, including establishing with others Infosys Consulting in the UK. So when the Indian firm Infosys looked to come to the UK and start to sell their consulting services, they did that by looking at some of the best consultants that they could find in the UK and bringing them on board into their team. And I was headhunted as part of that process. So I've got a lot of deep, big consulting firm background, and I've deployed all of that into the structure of Pendleton so that we can raise the maturity of business coaching. Because business coaching as an industry was sort of founded by people who they'd come out of industry and they just became a coach. They just started telling people about coaching. I'm a coach. I can be a coach. I can be a coach. But there wasn't actually necessarily the same level of professionalism and structure to the organizations that you saw through the accountancy firms and all that long pedigree of professional services that you got in the PwCs of this world. And so what I've tried to do is take the best of both of those worlds, the entrepreneurialism of the classic coach and the professionalism of the consulting firm, smash them together to create a new structure that's just better for coaches all round and better for clients all round. And so that's what we've attempted to do. So thanks for that question, Pradeep, and hopefully that's answered. We do take people who are existing coaches and support them with improving the professionalism of their delivery offer and the value and the rates that they can achieve in the industry. We do take people who are already certified, but we also train people who have never done this before. And I'll give you a little example. We've just struck a partnership in the UK with the Officers Association to take people who are coming out of the senior ranks of the military, because they're very used to providing drive and motivation, but they haven't necessarily had the level of business acumen. But by operating as a business coaching and consulting firm combined, if any of their clients have any questions about business topics that the military coach can't perform, then we're able to support them. I'm sensing we're about to have the plug pulled, so thank you to everyone for coming and joining us today. I've really appreciated talking to you. If you'd like to come and talk to us, please do get in touch with Divya, and over to you, Pooja.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that this session has to be cut a little short. We're running short of time, and we've still got a few more keynotes and panel discussions coming up. So once again, I'm going to request the audience, you're going to have to move into the next session. Thank you very much, Rob. Thank you very much, Divya. It's time for me.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet everyone, and good luck on your coaching.